Funky or what?
I like that jam. I like that jam.
It's coming. This is another version. There's like 4 versions. See how it's got a little pushes the tempo a little bit. Good levels. Give me a sound check.
Mic check. Can you hear me? Mic check. Gaston. Check, please.
See how much higher the level is on that one. We got all 4 screens doing it. Want to make sure I get this. Yeah, we're just going to jump right into it here. My voice is kind of gone and I'm a little bit shaky because I haven't eaten very much. Just been going balls to the wall here.
Go with throttle up.
That's right. We're going with throttle up here. My apologies to anyone of our country people upon whose sensibilities I may tread. But this is the first thing I want to do is I threw some of my thoughts on this as I'm watching all this insanity. And you're watching the black back of the sock. As we're watching all of this insanity unfold in front of us, it's almost like an alternate reality where you woke up one day and, like, you know, Mr. Green Jeans took over the studio and holding Captain Kangaroo at as a hostage or something. It's just crazy town. So hello, I'm the resident gorilla and your host Thomas, and this is Tony Tatum.
Hey, man.
And our buddy Gino is MIA right now. He's must be busy. But if he gets a chance, I'm sure he'll pop in. And you can pop in too, by the way. You can call me if you have my personal number, which I never should have said that just now. And if you have our number, or you know how to get us on Skype, on what is it, Scott Negron, or Gorilla Negarilla, I think. I'm the dude. I've got Master Chief Halo, Master Chief. Hey, oh, you made it to the show too, huh? Mama's here. Come on, Mama. Come on. And ooh, she just clawed the crap out of me. So are you gonna walk all over everything? And anyway, just know that you're always welcome to participate. Like, you can call and talk, and you'll be on the stream. And then this way, if you have something that you think is important to discuss, then you'll be able to do that. She just like stomps me as she walks by. This cat just moved into my place. I mean, we know where she came from, but she just decided to move in. It's kind of crazy. And I don't have my headset on. I kind of have to hear what's going on. And that just sounds good. There's still that noise, though. Damn, that freaking noise. So I want to talk about some of the things that are happening right now. And this is my opinion. So if you want to, if anybody wants to criticize it or otherwise denigrate it or agree with it. I mean, if you happen to agree with it. But the important thing is that we start talking about this stuff. That's the important thing. Like, whether you agree or not, if you've got better solutions, if you see it a different way or whatever, you're welcome to tell us. It's not about me sitting here and ranting for hours. And my sidekick and my partner, those guys have opinions too, but they're not as apt to, broadcast them. They'll throw in, but I guess it's kind of mostly me stoking the fire over here. But moving right on, the FBI, the puppet parts of it anyway, they're basically the ones that are bureaucrats at the top, not the rank and file FBI. The puppet parts of the government who have been exposed are clutching to the keys to the skeleton closets and the kingdom. They never thought that these things would be compromised, I guess. But when Trump came along, somehow they knew this guy was going to stomp through their Tea Party. And right from the very beginning, they were sabotaging immediately. I mean, Republicans too. Remember, I have a good memory. I don't know if you do, but the Republicans didn't want him to run on their ticket. They didn't. They tried not to give him the nomination. I'm not going to sit here and defend Trump all night. Basically, I'm just going to call it like I see it. Is he's been our president. He was doing stuff he promised us he'd do, and everybody on earth, it seemed like, was trying to either sabotage him, denigrate his character, or otherwise hurt him. Basically, it was open season on Donald Trump for the past 4 or 5 years. Where were all these people that were trying to put him in jail before he ran for president? I'll tell you where they were. They were non-existent. They used to kiss his ass. Obama, Oprah, all these people, every one of them. I just happen to name a few. They all kissed his ass, from president to pauper. What are you doing? She scared me when she goes in there, because last time she pulled a bunch of stuff down on the ground. So from the pauper in the street to the prince and potentate, at the top, and I can't even keep track of the drama anymore. It's like these people live on manufacturing drama so that they'll be able to speak and dictate the opinion that people should have, And I've just never been one of those people that automatically agree with somebody. I always think about it first. Come on, stop. And what if I happen to come up with my own opinion? That's where I'm coming from until I change it, and I often do. But these guys, they're clutching the keys to the skeleton closets. They basically have all their skeletons in. They never thought that they would be compromised. I guess they thought this whole thing was going to last forever, and right now it's not. They're not really wrong, um, because they seem to have been able to preserve their positions and preserve the narrative that is so thin. It's so transparent and so wrong. It's such a big lie, and enough people are supporting it that they're just walking around like it's true. Hey, 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 hey! Don't do that. Come on. What are you doing? Hey, I can't even talk with you sitting here sometimes. Um, they're actually, and I have it laid out. Sorry, I have it laid out here. Um, you know, it seems like they're telling us that they're willing to sacrifice us, the country, the Constitution, the rest of the nation's history. I mean, the future of the nation to protect their crimes and the people they work for's crime, their criminal worldwide network. Um, or maybe it's not even that complicated, and you just want the world to see that if you can take down 80 million to 200 million Americans, um, then and American citizens, good law-abiding American citizens, constitutional loving, country loving, and there has nothing to do with racism. You've got just as many minorities like myself, probably more than white people at this point, because we're seeing what they're doing. Not all of us are simpletons. You know, I mean, I when they get up there and they do their little dancing bear routine, I'm laughing on the outside, but I'm crying on the inside because I know that these people do not have our best interest in mind. And if they did, the stuff that you guys are screaming about would have been changed a long time ago. How come it took 50 years to do some of the things that this president did? You know, that no other president would do. Like I don't know, I can go down the list, but how about just with some of the racial corrections that the racist corrections that he did? Basically, um, I can't get over it. I mean, the people whose lives he affected directly, he's their hero now, you know, and he was always like that. Guy was always doing stuff like that for people. Just now he had political power. So I don't understand what this threat that he proposes to them, because basically they've made about 30 to 40% of the country hate his guts, and 30% of the world too. Now they would have you think it's 80%, and that we're the 20%, but that's pure horseshit. That's guano, pure malarkey. You know what they've done is they have the megaphone, so of course they're going to be louder, and they're the ones that are supposed to be what do you call it, dissatisfied, or you know basically they have contention, you know. And I think, if you ask me, the very top of the food chain, the elite in this country, as they almost always have used us, the minorities, as a bludgeoning tool. But every 4 years they forget all about us, man. They forget all about us. This guy was the only guy that got in there, and he stayed consistent. He stayed consistent the whole his whole term to what he was saying before the election. Yet the very people that sit there and just lie to our faces about the big things every day, these people lie to our faces and then do nothing but vote themselves in more benefits and vote themselves in more uh, perks. And so, I mean, think about how much these people get paid, and think about the fact that at this point they've already elected themselves potentate over over the average people. I mean, otherwise, how could you possibly think that it would be sacrosanct, you know, to burn the Capitol building or vandalize it, which Trump supporters didn't do. I mean, we already know that. We've already identified people. We've already watched all the videos. I have no idea what video the FBI is watching, but the ones we watch, we can see the Trump supporters pulling them down off of the walls and stuff that they were trying to smash through the windows and stuff. The only reason those guys got through that side window is because none of those guys were Trump supporters. Those guys were working together, and they were not Trump supporters. None of them had the regalia on. And if you ask me, their age, their posture, their intent, their tactics, that was all what we've been seeing for the past year, over almost a year now. So I don't get how they got that those were Trump supporters. They just automatically, and this is what they do. It's plausible. It's circumstantial. So since it happened at a Trump support protest, that's how we ended up being enemies. And don't get it messed up. We are the enemies now. They announced it. Biden went on video last night and basically announced, and I don't know if you guys watch it, but he said he's coming for the guns. He said it out of his mouth. If you can't take that and be able to repeat it back to them and have them acknowledge it, that's what I call delusional. Some guy came on my Facebook wall and said, what did he say? Oh, they're not coming from your guns. Stop spreading fear. Who's afraid, motherfucker? Who's afraid? I'm not afraid. Certainly not afraid of him, and certainly not afraid of getting my guns taken. It's just that's not the point. The point is that they'd even come for them even in the first place. They've been eroding our First Amendment rights, and that's just now. It's just come down to where if you can't see it, I just don't even know what to say to you. I mean, if you're somebody on the left right now, do you think that you're going to get special favor forever? You're just helping them get the leverage. Once the leverage is there, and they're pretty much controlling everything, which they're damn close to doing now. Once they're in that spot, what do you think they're going to think of you? Do you think that you're just going to get to roam around and do whatever you want? You're going to be right in the cell with us, you dumb fucks. I mean, how could you not think that? Sorry about that. Yeah, sometimes it just gets away from me a little bit. But, and I don't want to have this vulgarity all the time, but it's just sometimes that's the word, If I say that word, it's because that's what I mean. They're really, really dumb. This isn't like elementary school where you get to be the crossing guard and then you can start pushing your weight around. Because when they take that ribbon off you, they don't give a shit about you. They're just using us as a leverage against society to keep us divided. And you're going to find out very soon what I mean by that. I'm going to start to unpack an entire thesis, a theory. These things are directly related to everything that's happening right now in our country, in the world. And all I can say is just take a look at it. I mean, if you don't agree with me, if you don't agree with some of the stuff I put in front of you, I'm not trying to play fortune teller, and I'm not trying to play secret agent either. Most of the shit that I've learned was really easy to find, man. It's not that hard to find. That usually happens at least 2 or 3 times a night every night. So, the First and Second Amendment rights are what's at stake right now. They have a pretext. Like when they pull one of these little psyop things or false flag or whatever it is that they pull, whether it's here or in another country, what they do is they're creating a pretext. They're building a reality in a sense. This entire world right now is subject to sharing a schizophrenic episode, if you don't mind me saying that. and I can explain it to you, but we'll get to that later. Basically, the erosion of our rights. Can you please stop making that noise, man? I mean, just talk with me or something. But the fidgety noises are driving me nuts. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, if they can do it to us, like let's say there's 200 million, or there's a lot of people. I mean, how many people are there in the country? Okay, 70% of them voted for Trump, and that's all there is to it. You're going to find out someday. If you don't agree with me now, someday, if you have the capacity to change your opinion by looking at data and looking at proof, evidence, not just stories. If the ones you're carrying around now, oh, there's no evidence, that's been debunked. That's the robotic response. The response to somebody who possesses deductive reasoning is somebody that's going to look into every one of these things, and it's impossible to do them all at once. It's impossible to do them all in a year. I mean, this is going to go on for a long time. But right now, for the past 3-4 weeks, probably 4 weeks, for the past 4 weeks, they have been destroying evidence. They hid the logbooks for chain of custody. I'm talking about here in Georgia alone, okay? Everything I tell you right now is what happened here in Georgia. They couldn't produce logbooks. And then they refused. He said, well, look for them. And I said, well, they're not available. What do you mean they're fucking not available? They belong to the people. Go get the logbooks, or you're supposed to go to jail, because that's why you're either appointed or elected to this office. The Office of Elections is not a joke. It's not a cushy job, a Caltrans job. It's you have a fiduciary responsibility, in a sense, and I mean, basically the election is your ward, and you have an obligation to protect it. And if you don't, if you subvert it instead, you're subject to criminal prosecution. That's what you're supposed to be subject to. And at the very least, you lose your job. How are these people in the last elections and the people in 2000? How did they, how do they keep their jobs? If they screw the pooch that hard, how are they still there at their jobs? How are these people in the Justice Department who just completely, betrayed us, and the people in the FBI now have come out and they said, you know what? Since you guys have been talking shit about us, here it is, and I'll put the link in the show notes of what this guy just said about us. Now, I wasn't there. You know what I mean? I wasn't there at the protest. However, yeah, I'm an unashamed supporter of the administration. Just like I had to hold my nose and support Obama. Just like I had to hold my nose and support Bush. Just like I had to hold my fucking nose and support Clinton and his wife, who I already knew before they even got elected. I knew they were working under the Bush family. They were at a lobster roast with Governor Wallace. They took a picture of him, and they were old chums. And so that was right around the time they moved everything to MENA, and they were, and it was before they dumped the whole cart over and basically eliminated as much evidence as they could of the fact that Noriega was an asset, right? Well, do the math, man. Look at the patterns. Look at the patterns. Was Noriega an intel asset? Well, of course he was. What was the other guy down there with the shoes? He was Marcos. Ferdinand Marcos. Was he not an intel asset? Yes, he was. That's very plain, well known. Not something that somebody made up as a narrative. It's the truth. Okay, was Saddam Hussein an intel asset? Do you know? Yes, he was. Go look it up. How about Osama bin Laden? Yes, he was an intel asset. These patterns are repeating, and how do you not notice this stuff? So now, let's jump to the present. Basically, what I want to know. This is my question to them. Okay, they're taking our first and second. They're going to try to start. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm going to show you the announcement that they made, which basically says we're you're now going to experience some persecution. It doesn't matter who you are. If you make noise, question authority, or don't walk in this right aisle, don't wear a mask, don't stay home, just do whatever they say and shut the hell up and don't make a sound. If you don't do that, you're going to have trouble because that's what they're saying here. They're not saying it in those words. They're saying it in different words. And basically, there are certain people in society who have been calling for the persecution of anybody who supported the last election. And if you, for 1 minute, think it's okay, if you're somebody who sits at home and says, you know what, I wish the government would go after every one of those people that voted for so and so, then you have a problem. You're a psychotic son of a bitch, just like those guys are. You know, you have to be psychotic to be a politician who smiles in the face of their country and basically is selling them out to the glue factory in the back of their mind. These people are psychotic. You know what I mean? They're sociopaths. And they've got a lot of people convinced that they're special. You know, they're special. Don't worry about you. You can be with us, and we don't have to follow the rules. Man, if you think that you and me and any other average Americans who aren't really powerful are going to be like, you don't have to go by the rules. You can go by their rules. Man, you got such a surprise coming. They're going to really wake you up because to them we are chattel, cattle and chattel. Um, how much are they going to take? That's my next question. These guys are wiping out the Constitution. They're selling out our country. They're sacrificing us and the rest of this nation's history, the future of it, to protect their own crimes. I said it before. I'm sorry. And the criminal worldwide network, or maybe it's not even that complicated. It's like they just want to take us down, and then from there, how much more are they going to take from you? In other words, they're saying, and this is their whole little dancing bear thing, is that we're going to redistribute wealth. We're going to go after the rich. Well, we're taking down the rich. Eat the rich and all that stuff. Dude, man, they're not going to take down no rich people. They're going to take down the middle class. They're going to put the middle class where it belongs, in poverty, where we are right now. And they're going to tell people where they can live and where they can't live. They're going to start moving people to population centers. You know that. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's a conspiracy fucking fact. That's what they're already doing. They're already destroying cattle since last February. They're destroying cattle, poultry. They're removing farmers. I mean, this has been going on for a long time. They've been attacking the breadbasket of this country for a year physically. If you don't believe me, I don't know what to tell you. Go look. Go search for it, because it wasn't that hard for me to find. It's not like I got it from some QAnon or whatever. I've never even seen one QAnon anything. So if you disagree with me or you think that's just a theory, I don't know what to tell you. You know what? I don't care. That's what I want to tell you. So basically, what I want to know from them is, what is it that you're coming for? What more are you going to take? Is it basically you're going to take the wealth of the nation? You're going to take its industrial capacity. They're already in the process of collapsing this dollar the rest of the way. They know that. That's why they're spending money like drunken sailors. Sorry, Navy. But this whole thing's going to, the reset thing that they just leaked, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, And now people are saying it every day. Like, so now when it happens, you're not going to be that surprised. I've been telling people we were going towards a cashless society for 25 years at least. I mean, my family, my friends, all the spams I used to send around. And here we are. We're at the threshold of that right now. There are stores that don't accept cash. Uh, am I right? They're here in Georgia. I don't know about other places. I know that there's stores here in Georgia that don't accept cash anymore. You got to have, your plastic chip, that they've been trying to put in our arms or whatever for the past 25 years. So, and now, I know, here we go, because I'm going to tell them. But now they've got a patent on vaccinations that have trackers in them. And then you're getting a chip whether you like it or not. And, the whole thing about, well, anyway, I don't even want to get into the vaccines. That's another subject, that to think that people hate vaccines. It's not all vaccines. It's the vaccines that matter, the ones that we have a reason to be concerned about. But more later on that. But basically, I just want to know, what are they going to take from us? What more can they take from America? Because they say it's the rich that are suffering. No, it's not the rich. It's just the citizens, all of us. No matter, put it this way: if you're not a multimillionaire, you're suffering right now. Even if you don't think so, I mean, okay, let me make sure I clarify that. I have nothing, and yet I'm pretty content. I'm happy. I'm not satisfied. I'm going to go out and work hard and try to rebuild my empire. But what do you need? What do you need to feel happy and confident? Do you need a Porsche for that? Because if you do, well, I'd rather have a Ford Falcon, '63 Ford Falcon or something. And that's what I'm saying. It's the thing. It's the little things in your life. It's family, which they're trying to destroy. It's your sense of identity, your sense of independence, your family, everything you knew about your life and your family's life, the history of this country. It's been ripped apart, and we're made to somehow. They're forcing you to believe that you're evil. Like white people are evil. You know what I mean? They've been shitting on white people for a long time, and what they really mean to do is shit on racist white people, just like they should be shitting on racist Puerto Ricans and racist black people. There's racism all around. We should be eradicating it by just stopping doing it. But there's always going to be people that have that kind of fear and hate. I don't really care if they hate me. I don't care if they hate my ethnicity. You know, I don't. And if I disagree with somebody that's calling for reparations, it has nothing to do with race. You want reparations? Get behind us, the American Indian, the Caribbean Indian, that was here already, that was prolific everywhere through South and North America. My people were wiped out. For the most part, all the males over 12 years old were killed by the Spaniards and the Europeans. That were reparations. Look, we were annihilated. So yeah, and then the part of me that's sub-Saharan African says, I can go out there and build an empire. I'm in a free country. I'm not in a third world country yet. It's arguable at this point. But why do you think people come here? Okay, there's been slavery. There's been a lot of bad things that have happened, but we're past that shit. Why are they using those things as wedges to divide society? There's a reason for it. And so just to turn around and basically stereotype anybody who disagrees with you as a racist, it's just getting really old. Like, it's getting old to the point where many minorities like myself, who have seen through that forever, are just like, well, when are we going to hear the end of this shit? What can you not do that you want to do in this country that you think racism is keeping you back from? Because I grew up poor. We had shit. My parents born in Harlem. The kid's born in the Bronx. We moved to the three corners of the country, and nobody ever told us we couldn't do something because we had brown skin. We just walked among everybody else, and we experienced racism, but I experienced more racism from minority people than I've ever received it from white people. And I know there's plenty of racist white people, but you know what? There's not as much racism as a whole these days. There's not. We're much more accepting of each other. So if you're hanging on to that shit and walking around looking for somebody to beat up, and since you can't find anybody,
Pick me.
you pick the nearest white person around, or you just wait for that one time where they catch these two guys or these guys go do something terrible to people, and then you dance all over that. For what? What is that doing for us? You know, some of the brightest minds in this country right now have been speaking rationally about this subject for years. Um, and I'm not going to start dropping names, but some of them are movie actors, some of them are professionals, some of them are Nobel uh, Prize winners, and I'm not talking about Obama because I've never seen a more divisive person. I've never seen somebody who harbors more hate for white people in my life, and the guy's mom is white. And if you don't know who she's related to, that's your problem. You know, if you don't know his lineage and stuff like that. Now, I've never hated Obama. I was just opposed to what he did to this country. I saw it coming, but really, I like the guy. I mean, have I not said that before? It's like how can you not like him? He's a slick Chicago lawyer. You know, he speaks with a smile and an easy form. And I never hated him. I really do. I wished he would have proved me wrong.
Very well spoken.
Yeah, like Biden said. It's something to the effect of, he's the cleanest one they brought out of there. He's just Biden. He's tripped over his own foot so many times and told who he really is. And if you guys, I mean, have you not gotten that yet? Do you not have you not figured it out yet? I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand. But there was a time when we'd argue, right? And when it started getting shitty, when the ad hom came out, it would just. You ever play Snaps when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, still playing.
Your mama got a mouth in the back of her neck, and the bitch chewed by shrugging. That's what people kind of move into on social media because they give you. This is. I know it's not by design, but some people know how to take opportunity out of the smallest thing. They're extremely adaptable, overcome, improvise. When they design social media, okay, they put us all in these little boxes and they limit the amount of characters you can type out because they don't want you to really have a voice. What they're doing is they're providing arguments. They're providing conflict. And what they do is they design these conflicts so that no matter who wins, they benefit. When you're not benefiting, after a while, it's like Stockholm syndrome. You don't even notice it. I mean, I've seen so many of these arguments that really it wouldn't matter who won. Both positions are ridiculous. So that's kind of, I go back to it again. I'm just circling back around is how much will you take from us until you have pushed us too far? And then they've already, obviously they're going to make sure that they have all the weapons. They're going to make sure you're disarmed. They're going to basically smash us against a rock. Don't you understand that? How can you not get that? I'm not mad at you, but I just, there's so many beautiful things that are being ruined in the past couple of years not by this president either, and I know that there are going to be people that disagree with me that are just going to lash out at me. If you're that smart and you are so right, break it down. Come on the show and debate. Get out what you want to say. And if you have no argument and all you do is the same old talk points and the same double standard questions and stuff like that, basically you got nothing new. You're not doing anything that's not already been done. There's a lot of people out in the world trying to find solutions, and we are some of those people. And I don't give a shit what people think. We've got to lay it out there, and we've got to. I mean, we're being forced and pushed too far. The people, all the people, and the only way that they'll let us have conflict is if it's with each other, or if they get to overpower us because of our desire to stay sovereign and independent. Do you understand that? If we kowtow and we kneel down and kiss the ring, they'll let us live. You know, they'll give you your $2,000 a month. Something that I just read this thing. I haven't confirmed it yet because it's one of the things that I haven't confirmed. But I've been on the. I'm still cleaning up all the evidence and stuff from the election. I'm cleaning up all the evidence from the past year. I mean, it's been a very busy year. Um, right before they stopped those people at the border that were carrying the dead birds that were infected with COVID that were hidden in that luggage. There was like, I don't know, 100 birds in the one. I think the other guy was at the Canadian border, but I believe it was at LA where they got one guy. It was an Asian national from China who came into the country, and in their luggage they found, wrapped in sealed plastic, uh, a ton of baby birds. 100 of them, dead baby birds that were infected with the COVID. Now they put this out in a few articles, but the here's I might as well throw in a couple details that were really strange to me, because I read every single account of this. I've searched them out, and the there was a compartment in the luggage, and they showed the luggage, and then they showed the bags of birds, and they were printed in Japanese colors. That's what really got me. It was like, these are the colors, like the reds and the yellows and stuff that they use in caricature and characters in Japan. And then somebody told me, well, that's because that's Japanese writing. So it's not like I read Japanese, but I just noticed, I was like, wait a minute, that's really odd. And he's like, oh, that's Japanese writing. Okay, so I don't know if you knew that or not. Do you want to bet me that it's true? Because it's definitely true. I read it in several different places and well, okay, just because you read it doesn't mean it's true, right? Well, the thing is that I kind of have an instinct for what I might arrive at, like trusting by where I read it and what words are used and stuff. Because when usually in this psyops that we're experiencing, a lot of the different outlets, leakers or outlets or media or whatever you want to call them at the time, they use the exact same terms and the exact same keywords. I mean, if you're somebody who's ever messed with computers and stuff, you know what a search string is, you know what syntax is. These people are not clever enough to be able to be creative and use different syntax with the same keywords that mean the same thing. They're not that creative. They just do what they're told. So if they're handed a thing that says, that's really, what does it say? That's a threat to our democracy. When somebody says that's a threat to our democracy, I know that person is a moron, because they're just repeating. They're a parrot. That's a parrot. A parrot repeats shit. So when you go to these sources, you look through them and you'll have a feeling for whether, this seems plausible. Plausible doesn't mean true. Okay. Plausible just means possible. But put it this way, I don't want to just sit here and rant all night, but I don't see Gino. Is that Gino? Yeah, he might save you guys. Gino might save you from my rant. Is today Wednesday? No, Gino's not there. Oh well. Listen to my countrymen. I say, how much shall they take from you and I? How much longer will they pick you and I against each other? They pit us against each other, only to gain from each and every conflict. I'm commenting tonight on the news and civic implications of what now seems like a daily current event. They push farther and farther every day, and they're pushing into the ludicrous zone. I want to comment on the FBI press conference where they obviously intend on designating liberty minded Americans as domestic terrorists. Now, were the insurgents? Stealing the election wasn't a seditious insurgency, but but demanding clarity and transparency, demanding an investigation into the fraud is insurrection. I mean, can you tell that I'd like want to raise my voice right now? Like I'm pissed. I'm offended. My intelligence, what little I have, is absolutely insulted by that. If you can sit there and tell me that because I recognize the pattern of utter fraud, the election was an utter fraud. Okay, it was completely stolen. I know it, and you know it. Now, just because we know it doesn't mean everybody's going to say something. Some people have a horse in the race, and they don't care. They don't care if it was illegal, as long as they won. Do you get that? I have. That's the thing I have the hardest time with. Is because it's like, okay, you can have everything you've ever wanted. You can achieve all your dreams and have all the riches in the world. All you got to do is kill your grandmother. Would you do it? Some people would. And that's the people that you're dealing with right now. I'm sorry, but that's about as accurate as it gets. I would step in front of a train before I kill my grandmother. You understand that? Or anybody else for that reason, unless they had it coming to them, unless they were coming at me. That's the difference between morals and moral turpitude. That's the difference between what makes us a great country, is because even though we have a lot of evil here, that most people are aligned in the important things. God doesn't want us to kill ourselves. I mean, or each other, especially each other, I think. But who knows? So this press conference, to me, this FBI press conference, the fact that they have had a righteous posture in silencing people, and I don't really care who it is, Trump, Pompeo, what's his name, the really cool dude out in California, he's a senator or whatever. What a badass dude. He's the guy that pulled the pin on the grenade on the whole thing. Sorry, can't remember his name. What is it?
I don't remember. The brain lock.
Devin Nunes.
Yes.
Devin Nunes, to me, should get the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's him and Willem. Somebody knock on the window?
No.
See, him and William Binney. If you don't know who he is, you should look him up. Watch the documentary A Good American. And let me know if you see that documentary and you'd like to talk about that subject. Please let me know, because I'd be glad to go into that subject. Anyway, these people are good Americans, and the only thing they've done, what's made them the most hated people in the country, is they've been uncovering corruption. That is why they hate Donald Trump. I don't care how much of a con man you think he is. I don't care what you think of him. He has uncovered more corruption and more sedition than any president in my lifetime. Now, ask yourself if that's true for you. Maybe it's not true for you. Maybe you thought Nixon was more crooked, but maybe you don't know that much about Nixon either. That those guys that broke into the Watergate Hotel, the DNC campaign headquarters or whatever, the safe that they were going into and the stuff that they were trying to steal. Well, if you don't know what it is, then you don't really know the story, do you? And really, what did Nixon have to do with it? Well, anyway, let's move on. That's what I'm trying to say is like all of that stuff is a joke compared to what we have experienced in this country in the past 4 years. Man, you got to understand that. There's been more dirty tactics, more criminality, more corruption, more blatant defiance of the law of the land, and all from elites and politicians. Basically, we're collateral damage at this point. People are dying. A young woman died at that protest. And I'm just going to say it right here and right now. If you can prove to me that those people, that the people that we've identified as being the agent provocateurs, if you can prove to me that they're not Antifa, I'm all ears. But I said it the minute I looked at it, the minute we started seeing those videos come in. Did I or did I not?
Damn Skippy.
I said, look at the posture.
Don't feel
Look
right.
at what these guys are. Look at what these guys are wearing. Look at how they walk through the crowd. They're walking through the crowd with a purpose. Come on, man. I'm not an expert on everything. I'm not an expert on anything. But I grew up in the streets. You know what I mean? I knew what it was like to stay awake. My father taught me that. You know, and my mom too. Really, to be honest with you, my mom's a badass. But they taught me to stay awake. They taught me to watch the guy's hands, watch him palm the P, watch how he's got the cards stuck together. You become very observant, and you observe patterns, and that's all I can say. I don't think it's any special kind of. I don't think it's some kind of special talent or anything, or some special intelligence. It's not. You don't have to be intelligent to have your eyes open and notice things. They've got to matter. Yeah, you got to pay attention in order to get it. But this has not been that hard for me to figure out. So that's why it's really kind of, I don't know, it just like eats at me. It's like a pet peeve. I just don't understand how more people aren't waking up faster. You know, what's happened that so many people just sort of fall back to sleep and trust these people. They repeatedly go back to the people that they know are lying through their teeth to them every day. And yet, as soon as they clap their hands, everybody turns like in that scene from Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They all pointed and you know, they had all these people hating this man. It's like, okay, you don't like him, okay, but this is not a Sunday football game. Like you know, like I'm always going to cheer for the Miami Dolphins no matter who's on the team. Is that how you run your politics? Because what's happened is on both sides of these main parties, some of the nastiest, evil, despotic, sexually deviant, dishonest. I mean, what else can I throw in there? Those people have crept into the highest positions of the land. So now what? Are we still going to squabble like a bunch of seagulls, like squabbling over scraps? You know, I've got some solutions. I mean, I've got ideas. Everybody right now should automatically push to starve politics to death. Politics needs to be starved to death of money. Every penny needs to come out of politics that we can muster. I'm not ever. I will never give another campaign contribution. You know what I mean? Let the corporations do it. But if we keep doing it, even if we're doing it for our own choices, all we're doing is perpetuating the war chests of all of these, you know, of all of them. So we could, and it's the same thing that I was going to tell you guys about the censorship thing. I'm pulling out of Twitter. I'm pulling out of Facebook. You know, I'm doing it methodically because that's how I do shit. So if you see me posting or something and you want to give me a yell and say, "Oh, well, I thought you were leaving," well, yeah, I am. You know, I've got, I don't know, 30,000 photos and stuff. I got to make sure I got copies of everything. And still, guess what? When you shut your Facebook profile down, they keep your shit anyway, in case they can ever use it against you. This is the country we live in right now. And I'm not talking about they keep your shit in just in case they can use it against you, like you're a criminal. They're doing this to us, the citizenry. Okay, what possible excuse could they have for that? I mean, you know why Facebook was invented anyway, right? You know what they used to call those, the mugshot books? They used to call them Facebook. Anyway, and check that out if you don't believe me. I think I've mentioned that in one
It's
other.
true.
I did mention it once before, but basically, this reversal in the narrative, all of a sudden, or how should I refer to it? Like as a tack, a sailing tack. These guys just hard tack to the left, and they've just basically told us what's going to happen very soon. They're already calling us out. Biden was on, said he was going to take our guns, and he said it. So if he said it, if I can believe nothing else he says, I believe that. You know, I mean, if I'm going to believe anything out of that comes out of that guy's mouth, that I will believe. They've been trying to do it for a long time. He says he's going to take on the NSA. I mean the NRA. And what I'm hoping is the story that I heard about about the military. If that was true, that would be fantastic. Because if these dirtbag, scumbag, seditionists, if they get control of our own military, or if they bring foreign troops to our shores, because don't laugh, man, don't freak out. I'm telling you the truth. They've already been here training, okay? And if you don't believe that, I don't know what to tell you either. But they've already been here training. So one of two things: you could see a United Nations force, or if our military just remembers that it's us who they fight for and not the government. If they realize that for 1 minute, there's a good chance that our military won't be against us. But you got to remember something: there are governors in this country, Republicans and Democrats, that are totally against the people. Those people are right now, as we speak, they call out the National Guard, and they will wield the National Guard against people. Remember Kent State. That's all I got to say about that. Um, and really, honestly, man, I got to throw this in there. I don't really care what they think of what I'm saying right now. This is how I feel. This is my opinion. And if somebody doesn't like it or they disagree with it, you're welcome to. You can even come here and tell me how full of shit I am, and just straighten us out on it. If not, then you owe it to yourself to check out the stuff that you don't believe, particularly the stuff that you don't believe, or particularly the stuff that you do believe. If there's something I say to you that you believe, go check it out. See if it's true. Um, and if you just take the first five search engine results, and that's what you look at, well, then you're gonna, your sense of reality is going to be distorted, because that's how they distort it. Part of how they distort it, they're reinventing the whole universe and telling us what things mean now. They're changing the meanings of words. They're changing the meanings of terms. They changed the meaning of the word patriot a long time ago. You know, um, they mugged us. We've been mugged. America's been mugged. We're good natured people on the whole. On the whole, we love each other. I'm talking about white people, black people, brown people, yellow people. I don't care who you are. I've met some beautiful people in this country, and the people who come here from other places are beautiful people too. We want them here, you know, but we all have to live by the same laws, and that's the thing that I don't think the Democrat oligarchs get. They don't want. They think that rules are for little people, and also elite Republicans. Forget it. I've been at their throats for since when we got the internet in '93 or whatever. I've been at it right from the get go. I was on the bulletin board ripping it up, spreading the word. Man, is I've been fighting. It was I was fighting Republicans and corrupt Democrats, and then some. I noticed when it all started changing. It was around the time that Clinton came on the scene, and when I started reading the truth about them and seeing what was going on in Washington, I realized it's not just Republicans, man. These guys are despotic too. What happened? Why did nothing happen to George Bush Sr. after he went in and raped Panama? And then they went in and to what was it? Starts with a G. not gonna, when we invaded, I don't know, off of Argentina. I can't remember. Um, or no, it was wait. Anyway, I'll remember. But basically, they were conflicts. They call them conflicts because they weren't full wars. But we did military operations in South America in the 80s and early 90s 3 times, um, and thousands of Panamanians were killed. I mean, indiscriminately, really. I don't know if they were killed by the Guard, the Revolutionary or National Guard there, their Revolutionary Guard or what do they call them, or our military. But all I know is that with my own 2 eyes, I saw the biggest Volvo loaders that money buys pushing bodies into trench graves. That happened in Panama. If you don't know about it, I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry I have to say that. It's very macabre, but
You mean the Falkland Islands? You mean the Falkland Islands?
no, that was Britain. Britain fought Argentina over the Falklands. But Grenada, my brain, Grenada. We were in Grenada for some flimsy reason. That was great that we saved some students, but and then of course Clint makes a movie about it, and it's a big hero thing. This is propaganda, man. Um, I've said it before. George Bush was basically the president during that time, and I think that was the message they sent to Reagan too, when they tried to cap his ass. That's so fucked up. None of our presidents should ever have to fear for their lives. You know, as much as I had a distaste for what Obama was about, he was still our president. People used to say, "God, you got a hard on for this guy." Yeah, it's the corruption I don't want. And he was a cool dude and everything. Somebody that you would want to hang out with, smoke a joint, or play basketball with. But letting him run our country after what we already knew about him, oh come on, man. Fuck, man. Denzel now in this country that would make great presidents, and some of them are business people because business people, rock when it comes to running things. Rock when it comes to running things. They're used to being a general. You don't really want military people running your country, right? I mean, think about it. That's the whole point of politics, is to keep the military and the people separate. And now we're watching that wash over itself. Um, the Guard have been called to Washington D.C. So they're calling off the party, the inauguration party, and only certain people will be allowed to come out, just like you saw in New York with Como, which leads me to the next thing. And I don't know, I can say 1,000 times I told you so, or or we could start looking at these things together and calling the shots, because these shots are easy to call. Yesterday, Como went on television and with a straight face, not Chris, but Andrew Como, went on, the governor or whatever the fuck he does in New York, he went on television, and as if it was his own idea, he said, "Hey, we got to open up this country. I mean, we need to get back to work. Okay, I mean, are you serious right now? You want us to take you seriously when everybody who's been calling for that for the past year has been labeled, everything. I don't have the whole list of ad homs, but and then this guy from one week to the next, now that they think they have the election, they have the power locked down. He's like, well, okay, we're going to open up, but we're going to do it our way. We're going to do it the right way, the safe way. The safe way is the oppressed way. The safe way is them holding their hand on the back of your neck with a grip while they let you do business in your own country. Well, man, I'm just ready to explode on this. I'm so mad about it. These guys really don't belong running anything. Let me just say that. They comment. The comment on the FBI press was that where they obviously wanted to be taken seriously. Like all of a sudden these guys show up and it's a FBI press conference. And they basically what they did is they are designating liberty-minded Americans as domestic terrorists and insurgents. They are designating liberty-minded Americans as domestic terrorists and insurrectionists. So if you supported the president, you didn't even have to vote for him. If you supported the president, if you support the office, and you're like you have problems with the way they've been doing things in the past couple of weeks, because what they did here in Georgia was it's pitiful. It's I mean anyone who had pride was had a knife stuck in their heart. You know, even with everything I've been through with the legal system here, um, I mean, I believed in justice still, and even watching the justice system, you know, for the flim flam it turned out to be these days, I still had hope that there were more honest people in politics than dishonest people. But what we have seen now, and what someday I think they will thank Donald Trump for, is because nobody brought it out like he did. Nobody uncovered it like that guy did. He just got underneath every one of those devious bastard skins. You know, from Maxine Waters to Pelosi to Schumer. You know what Schumer did in front of everybody, God and everybody, in what was it, the 80s? No, and it turned into a clusterfuck, and then they ended up murdering all those innocent people out there in Waco, Texas. Um, I don't know if you guys were awake or aware or whatever that was going on. There was, you know, that we had our district attorney and we had our I don't know what Hillary was, you know, out there blasting away about it. She wasn't the president; it was her husband. So basically, from what I understood, it was Hillary Clinton that was the one that said, "Hey, you go in there and you get this over with." Well, anyway, it was a just a total monkey fucking a football, you know. And but the thing that makes me mad about it, just a boxer when he goes into town to buy shit, the guy was always going in and out of town. So they have these, you know, who knows going in and out of town. So they have these, you know, who knows how valid they were, these gun charges or whatever against this guy because he was arming up. And or I guess I don't know the rapture, who knows. But
because they can.
what really just gets my goat is when they went to Congress and they had the hearings on Waco, Texas, because people screamed. I screamed. I wrote letters. I was like, how could these assholes go in there and do what they did? I knew that they were using military assets when I saw it on TV. After a couple of officers got shot and they had to drag their asses back, bunch of fat asses in vests and shit. Um, they brought in military assets and what they said that, well, we have equipment but we don't have any personnel there, and that was a lie. They had sniper teams there, they had military assets there, they had what do they call them, observers, no, what do they call them, not observers but I don't know, anyway, let's call them, they were taking photos, and those photos were leaked out. You know, of course, whether they were used publicly or not, there's photos of the thing that, you know, they were just basically going to collapse the house on the bad guys and the good guys and the innocent women and children. Well, these guys roll, you know, on the FLIR. You can see the guys roll out of the back of the tank as it goes by, and they crept up to the house. They got incendiary grenades and automatic weapons, and you're watching automatic weapons go off on that FLIR. You can tell it's an automatic weapon. And then there's and the reason I'm telling you this long story is because, well, first of all, if you don't know it, okay, I want to touch on some of these stories because these are not conspiracy theories. These are facts, and call them whatever you want. But if I tell you that I know something is the truth, it's because it's the truth. They anyway. So let's go back to the congressional hearings. They had the military general there, and I can't remember his name right offhand. And you know, of course, I'll remember it later, and then I'll double back. But the military general was there, and he's looking for direction. And I'll never in my life forget watching Chuck Schumer lead him along to protect the information. When who were they worried about covering it up from? They were worried about covering it up from Americans. We're supposed to be who this country is about. When I watch Chuck Schumer give him, he jumps in to and I was like, these people, aren't psychopaths. When I really started to realize it. Schumer tells the general, well, and I'm just going to paraphrase, okay? And everybody knows that there was no military personnel there, right? And the general, like, huh? And he's like, well, because of blah, 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 and then no military personnel. So, I mean, look, why are we wasting the general's time? He's here, he's, telling the truth and blah, blah. And that general ended up leaving that testimony, that hearing, never having admitted that there were Delta people on the ground. There were Delta team members there, snipers, equipment, big military asset, military equipment. So you take it for whatever you want. It happened a long time ago, but we've been catching these people for a long time. We didn't just start doing this a week ago. And when I started signing on to pay attention to what was happening in the world around me, I was kind of shocked for a while, and now I'm not. I'm not shocked anymore. I can almost, he laughs because I call the shot a year, and there are other people who stay up on this stuff with me, and I'm not the only one that sees it. It's not like I have some special, Merlin power. Anybody who pays attention is going to be able to see it. You just got to be willing to face it and see it for what it is. As usual, I have about 7 pages in it because at gmail.com. If you want to come on the show, contact us. Go to our website too. You can sign up to come on the show through our website, which Gina is doing a fantastic job of building little by little here. We'll schedule a show around your topic. You can call the topic because this way it's like a surprise to us. So stay in contact, stay safe, stay alert, stay vigilant. Don't get caught up in hating each other. Like the more they have us down here squabbling, the more they're getting away with, running through the bank with the bags. I mean, come on. If it's about money, fuck them. Take the money. They've already taken it all anyway. So, you want to talk anything in particular? You want to talk?
Yeah, well, a lot of stuff's happening, man. It's like you want to see what's.
Of course, digging deep. I get probably, no less than 100 messages a day and emails from people that maybe have read my stuff or whatever. I've been writing for a long time, but I really never thought anybody would want to read what I write because punctuation and all that stuff. I just want to make sure it was communicating. So I'd rip through it. Now I'm paying, and I don't want to just sit here and go around the rosy. I want to pick subjects and dissect them so that you guys benefit from it, because that's why we built this. We built this so we could connect with you. We literally, I'm telling you, I saw this all coming, and I knew that we would have to do something to stay involved. But I'm not a young man anymore, and my physical ability is not what it used to be. On the fly, I don't know where this guy came from. He wandered in just like the cat. And then I got my partner who's harder to find than the president. So Gina's hard to find sometimes, but he's got a lot on his plate too. We all do. I have just enough time to do this, and I've dedicated myself to it, so I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. If you guys think of an idea that will make this more useful for us and make it do what it was designed to do, which is serve the people, serve my brothers and sisters out there. We're all brothers and sisters, even those who hate us for our opinions. They're our family too. I got plenty of people in my family that won't even talk to me because of my political opinions. It's not even my overall politics, just the each opinion. Maybe I told them to stop whining about something. It's not the government's job to to do half of the shit that the government ends up doing for us. That's what's screwing up everything. You know that, right? It's not that. It's not. It has nothing to do with racism. It has nothing to do with hate. It has not. What it has to do with is we keep giving a job to a blumbering idiot, and we're giving him 2 glasses of water to carry across a room, and he can't make it halfway. That's because that's what the government does. Is everything they touch, they mess up. And if that wasn't true, then just go ahead and, I don't know, re-educate me on that. Well, you know, what have they done to education? What have they done to Social Security? What have they done to everything they touch? You know, and I'm not talking about the president or anything. Well, anyway, there I go, another hour. So, I don't know. I want to engage. So come at me. I want to hear what you have to say. Tell me what your opinions are. Anyway, and you're seeing this later. Thank you. Thank you for checking it out. I mean, we got really nothing to sell yet here, but at the same time, but if we're patient with each other, we can all exist here on this beautiful earth. And like Charlie Chaplin said, this fine earth can be bountiful, and it can add and feed everybody. There's enough for everybody here. If you notice, there's a lot of people who want way more than they ever need, and they never give anything away.
You are tuning in to Broadcast Depth Media, Voices of Reason.
Take care.
Free your mind, free your voice, free your heart.
Handed out to a few, but not freely given. First time I ever heard this song was on the CD that Joe Monday gave me when I visited back home when we were jamming. And when I heard this song, I was like, wow. Whoever wrote it. It's like my theme of life.
Sources indicate Trump won't willingly resign. He's not going to go out. He's got the proof for the fraud.
The proof of the fraud.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've been looking at it for the past week. Not only that, but the proof comes from about a dozen different areas from forensics.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Without a shadow of a doubt. That we know exactly what they're
They
doing.
can't just ignore it, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're just ignoring. They use the 2 words debunk and no evidence. What are we going to do? You know, if we force the issue, there's going to be murder, there's going to be death. If we try to go at them surreptitiously, then we're terrorists. So what are we going to do? Just lay down and take in the ass? Yeah. They're gonna start silencing us. What they're going to do? We're going to get booted. Yeah, they've already started that, but they're going to boot us off of YouTube pretty soon. We'll get the hammer. I would say it will last another 90 days.
Be of strong heart and be free of fear.
But by then we'll have a
The most powerful forces in the universe are not evil.
The only problem is that we won't have a platform big enough to store all these videos. We're going to have to rotate videos through there, and if somebody wants to see them, I don't know, we're going to have to do something. I mean, none of the streaming services are able to carry us like that.
in the past, I saw it like as a pirate radio broadcast. Not saving them, but just getting it to the people where they're at.
I can't.
actually, I've been looking into it ever since I started doing this. It's been 3 months. Like I've got, we've got Buzzsprout, we've got Vimeo. You know what I mean?
Know when to stand fast. You are listening to the voices of reason and freedom at broadcast depth.
If you can hear me out there, see you tomorrow.